What if waiting for God felt even harder than trusting Him? It's a question many of us face, and it leads us to one of the most shocking and pivotal moments in the entire Bible. This is the story of what happened when Moses came down from Mount Sinai. Let's set the scene. God has just performed one of the greatest miracles in history, freeing the Israelites from 400 years of slavery in Egypt by parting the Red Sea. He's leading them through the vast, unforgiving wilderness, a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Their destination is the Promised Land, a land of freedom and abundance. On their journey, they arrive at the foot of a massive, imposing mountain called Sinai. And here, God calls Moses, their leader, to meet with him. Imagine the scene. The ground trembles, the sky is filled with thick smoke, thunder cracks, and lightning flashes. It's a terrifying and awe-inspiring display of divine power. Moses, obedient and courageous, walks into that cloud and disappears from sight. He is going to receive God's law, the blueprint for their new life as a free nation. Down below, the Israelites wait. One day passes. Then two, a week goes by. Then another, and another. 40 days and 40 nights in total. With each passing day, the atmosphere in the camp changes. The awe they felt begins to curdle into anxiety. The memory of God's power starts to fade, replaced by a gnawing, growing fear. Whispers turn into loud demands. Where is Moses? They ask each other, what if that fire on the mountain consumed him? What if he's not coming back? Who will lead us now? Their fear made them feel abandoned and vulnerable in the middle of a desolate wilderness. They needed something tangible, something they could see and touch, to reassure them. They had forgotten the God who had split the sea, the God who fed them with manna from heaven. Their short-term fear overshadowed their long-term faith. So they turned to Aaron, Moses' brother, who was left in charge. They pressure him, saying, "Come, make us gods who will go before us." It's a stunning request. They want to replace the invisible or powerful God with something made by human hands. And Aaron, in a moment of weakness, gives in. He tells them to bring their gold earrings, the very gold the Egyptians had given them as they fled. They melt it all down in a great fire, and from the molten gold they fashion an idol, a golden calf, and then the unthinkable happens. They build an altar before it, and Aaron declares, "These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." They offer sacrifices, they feast, and they descend into a wild, unrestrained celebration. It was a complete and utter betrayal of the one true God who had just saved them. Meanwhile, high up on the mountain, a completely different scene is unfolding. Moses is in the very presence of God. God isn't just giving him a set of rules. He's establishing a covenant, a sacred relationship. He is giving Moses the 10 Commandments' timeless principles for living in right relationship with him and with each other. These aren't just arbitrary laws. They are a gift, a guide to true freedom and flourishing. And God Himself carves these words onto 2 tablets of stone with His own finger. It's a profoundly intimate and powerful moment. But then the divine communion is broken. God tells Moses, "Go down at once, for your people, whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt, have become corrupt. They have been quick to turn away from what I commanded them." God knows what's happening in the camp below. He sees the idol, the rebellion, the betrayal. His anger burns against the people. As Moses makes his way down the mountain, carrying the precious stone tablets, he begins to hear the noise from the camp. It's not the sound of a victorious army or a people in distress. It's the sound of revelry. When he finally reaches the edge of the camp, he sees it with his own eyes, the golden calf, the people dancing and worshipping it. His heart breaks. A wave of righteous anger and profound grief washes over him. In that moment of intense emotion, he lifts the tablets, the very words of God written by God's own hand, and hurls them to the ground, shattering them at the foot of the mountain. The shattered tablets were a powerful symbol. The covenant was broken. The relationship was shattered before it had even formally begun. Sin, as it always does, brought immediate and devastating consequences. There was a reckoning in the camp. Lines were drawn, and about 3,000 people paid the ultimate price for their rebellion that day. It's a harsh and sobering reminder that turning away from God is not a victimless crime. It has real, tangible costs. But this is not where the story ends. If it did, it would be a story of tragedy and judgment. Instead, it becomes a story of incredible grace. What does Moses do next? He doesn't abandon the people. He becomes their intercessor. He goes back up the mountain, falls on his face before God, and prays. He pleads for the people. He reminds God of his promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He essentially says, "Forgive them. If you won't, then blot my own name out of your book." It's one of the most selfless acts of intercession in the Bible. And God listens. He relents. He shows mercy. He tells Moses to chisel out 2 new stone tablets, just like the first ones. Moses goes back up the mountain one more time, and God once again writes the 10 Commandments on the new tablets. In this moment of restoration, God reveals his own character to Moses. He passes before him and proclaims, "The Lord, the Lord, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin." This is the heart of the story. The golden calf reveals the weakness and faithlessness of humanity. The shattered tablets show the righteous consequence of sin. But the new tablets reveal the heart of God. He is a God of second chances. He is a God whose mercy triumphs over judgment. His faithfulness is not dependent on our faithfulness. Even when we fail, even when we break our promises, His commitment to us remains unshakable. This story from thousands of years ago speaks directly to us today. How often do we get tired of waiting on God? How often does fear cause us to build our own golden calves, things we trust in for security, comfort, or identity instead of God? It could be our career, our relationships, our money, or our reputation. But the good news of this story is the same good news we have today. When we turn away, God doesn't turn his back. He is compassionate, gracious, and ready to forgive. He is the God of the second chance, and the third, and the fourth. The shattered covenant was restored, pointing forward to the ultimate new covenant made possible through Jesus, who offers forgiveness and a fresh start to all who turn to him. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the powerful stories of the Bible. Let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from the story of the golden calf. We'll see you in the next video.